was fully on-chain, one of the first of its kind. And we realized that it was super hard to onboard people onto blockchain games. So we spent the last 4 years working on onboarding tools and blockchain orchestration tools, tools that you now find in companies like WorldCoin, in Gnosis Metri, and a few banks and a few applications and so on. And also in games, there is a Unity SDK that you can use to do better onboarding and better blockchain management. We are based in Paris, in here, of course. We are a regulated custodian under MiCA. We do also crypto-to-crypto, and we do also non-custodial solution. And we published a new game about 1 year ago that was published in Android and Apple, iPhone also 4 months ago. So we've been through all the complication of publishing a Web3 game on mobile. Yep, we still made it, and yeah, we're part of the BGA and super happy to support and to host everyone in Paris.
Can we also say that you were one of the first to build a fully on-chain game, because it was the genesis of Cometh at the beginning?
Yeah. That's so we still have a game that runs fully on-chain. So as long as Polygon is running, our game will be running. Yeah, it was pretty cool, and we are thinking about reviving this game at some point, because it's we learned a lot of things about that, and I know it's a niche of a niche. You know, Web3 game is already a niche in the gaming space, but fully on-chain game is the niche of the niche. Like we just run the game on-chain, and that's a very interesting niche to dig in, I think. But it's a niche that's hard to scale from, so still something that's a bit too niche for us to focus on, unfortunately.
Perfect. Because I'm not going to do it the French way, and I hope you're okay, Zara. So I'm going to ask Philippe to introduce himself as well just after that.
So, hello, I'm Philippe. I'm the head of the Web3 department at TapNation. TapNation is a mobile gaming publisher, Web2 mobile gaming publisher. We have around 1.5 billion downloads since the creation of the company. That was in 2019. And we work since, let's say, 2 years on Web3 topics to try to change a little bit, you know, the revenue source that we have on mobile, since we're specialized on mobile, and also to try to improve the engagement and the retention from our users. So that's one of the targets. And since 1 year, we've made some partnership with like major players from the industry, like Immutable, Arbitrum, Tezos, or Polkadot. And the idea right now is to try to implement a Web3 feature in our already live games that already have millions of downloads. And that's the big challenge, because you need to be careful about the user experience, because a lot of players will not want to be in touch with crypto. So you need to have like a smooth onboarding. And that's the biggest challenge that we have. And those features were launched like 3 months ago. And we starting seeing some really good results on that. Maybe we could discuss about that a little bit later, but yeah. So yeah, that's on me.
Thank you very much. As we say in French, le meilleur pour la fin, or the best for the end. Zara?
Okay, I buy that. Yes. Thank you. I'm Zara, Zara Zamani. I'm a co-founder and CPTO at 4+ Ventures, and also CEO at Lucky Cat Studio. And Lucky Cat Studio is what I'm going to talk about tonight. And so it's a Lucky Cat Studio. We are a gaming studio. Started as a hyper-casual mobile gaming studio. We have developed more than 100 games, 250 million plus downloads on our games. We stepped into Web3 gaming in 2021. We were launch partner with Sui when they went live on their mainnet with our first Web3 game, Panzerdogs, and then Cosmocadia came along. We are the leading gaming studio in Sui ecosystem today, and we have 2 quite successful Web3 Web3 games on Sui, and we are also the 3 game character collections that we have on Sui are also often the #1 ranked collections in Sui ecosystem. We're taking them back to physical world. It means we signed with Jacob recently to take them to toy stores, Walmart's, Toys R Us, etc. And we are now also building Tychey, a gaming protocol that we will basically migrate all all of our Web2 games to Web3 on Tychey. And of course, welcome other games outside our own portfolio to build on Tychey.
Right, thank you guys. So to remind everyone about the topic, it's about user acquisition and why I was excited for this conversation. It's about the speakers we have, gaming, developing a lot of games in the Web2 space, but also face the challenges of building an on-chain game, fully on-chain game, going to another game with Cosmic Battle, and also delivering some onboarding solutions for a lot of companies too. So I think it's going to be very interesting to talk about user acquisition, heading to a little bit around onboarding issues maybe, or maybe not issues, solutions. But first, capitalizing on YouTube and with your gaming company, so with you, Zara and Philippe. Starting with you, Zara. How did you see the space evolve for the past 2-3 years? Do you see some similarities between the adoption of what happened in mobile gaming back then, like years ago, like nobody trusted about the benefit of mobile gaming at first, and you saw the adoption along the way, but nobody trusted it, and actually for both of you, you are into mobile gaming first. And do you see some similarities with what's happening in Web3 and the adoption of Web3 as a new technology or new practice?
Web3 gaming has evolved a lot. If you would have gone to Gamescom 3 years ago, they would hate you. They wouldn't even want to talk to you. Like, get out of the room. They still hate us. It's not. They hate us a bit less now. But if you were there a few months ago, we had like Web3 presence. We had some of the protocols there. So they're slowly starting to realize, okay, it's a different scenario now. But also, I always say gaming is a very different industry, because in majority of the industries, the adoption of blockchain or crypto is more blocked by regulators, but gaming is more blocked by gamers. It's a different story. Gamers are the ones that are quite against it without really understanding. So to cut it short, yes, definitely the space has evolved a lot today, but that's also because the builders learned how to build Web3 games that onboards gamers easier. They don't have to be like, tech savvy to deal with wallets, and so it's much easier to onboard gamers without really knowing what is the technology behind this game to Web3 gaming now, and basically eventually through the gameplay and game design, teach them what it means to be a Web3 game and what it means to have ownership of your asset. I think that is something that has evolved, and I think recently in the past 6 months, I've seen amazing games coming up, and I totally see the similarity with when mobile gaming came and now Web3 gaming, except now the difference is when we talk about ecosystem thinking, right? So mobile gaming was still very individual based, but Web3 gaming is very ecosystem oriented. So when you become a gamer with Web3 gaming, then you're exploring a whole ecosystem, not only a game. And then you eventually also become a trader. So it's not just a fun game. There's a lot of other dimensions of you as an individual that comes out as in Web3 gaming. So I totally see that the space has evolved, and I think this year will be a very good year for Web3 gaming. I think builders are much more serious, and I see a lot of studios now being really open to explore Web3 gaming, wanting to try it, and that's great.
Philippe, what about you? Because obviously a big mobile game publisher, you decided, I love what you said, like you wanted to seek any other revenue growth in Web3 as well, so try to experiment a little bit. What
I have an approach actually quite different, because our approach is not to have create games that are fully on chain. Because on our side, we're not specialized necessarily on that. We know how to do smart contract, to integrate, but yeah, the idea is more to have like a mixed monetization. And I guess to scale a game, today it's necessary to have a mixed monetization in your game. If not, it's mostly impossible. And I don't know a game today in Web3 that could come into a scaling phase with a million of users, because today, if we're creating a pure Web3 game, there is no audience, but it's a niche audience. And the thing that's good is that niche audience have a quite interesting LTV, big LTV compared to like the median of the mass market, you know. But yeah, so that's for me the different things that. So why we're not doing exactly the same. To come back to your question regarding the similarities between when mobile gaming arrived, the truth is that when mobile gaming arrived, every gamer say that mobile is shit. They are shitty games. And the same happens when the Web3 games came with a lot, and that's true, a lot of shitty games. And with the time, first the model was clearly play to earn with the model of Axie Infinity, and everyone wanted to do that, you know, at the end. But we know after a couple of years that it's not sustainable because it's in a way it's a Ponzi in a way. We can debate about that. And now we can see that all those builders, they are more focused on, let's say, thinking about the gameplay of the game first, and then having the financial aspect on the second place. And I guess we will have a lot of great games that will come in the upcoming months. Already some of games like Off the Grid, it's a really great example about how they could create like a real Web3 games, but that can attract the mass market and be available on the Play Store, on different consoles. And so that's, I guess, it's the big difference. Like as you were saying, everyone is learning about that, and we're having more diverse type of games also, you know. And one of the other thing I would say is that regarding the onboarding is a lot of games that we can see in the Mutable ecosystem or others, most of them you cannot see the Web3 aspects at the beginning. It's not like they try to avoid that and to try to onboard more smoothest those mechanics. And that, I don't know if this is the solution, but it's one of the way they are trying, and we will see the result. And I guess by the end of the year, we will know if there's a real use case on that side.
Yeah, and you were mentioning Off the Grid. We're also super fortunate to have in the room, hope he didn't leave, John, CEO of Mythical Games, for those who know NFL Rivals and what they're going to announce for FIFA as well. So
it's going to be huge.
I know, but it's going to be tomorrow. I think they're going to announce something, if I'm not mistaken.
I guess
I don't know anything,
I guess
but
yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, I think something will happen.
Some video, something like that.
Ah, okay, we know more now.
You can spill the bean, it's okay.
Yeah, alpha of the alphas.
It's everything. It's not recorded. Don't look at the camera. I mean, I think a question for all of you based on what you're building in a different way, but it's all about, the conversation is about user acquisition. You are in an environment where you try to seek new revenue growth, as you said on your side, but also you have games, and it's hard to attract. Do you feel like you're attracting a new audience in terms of how you actually talk to a specific audience? So you separate the audience you already had?
No, on our side, no. Actually, okay. To be honest, the idea is to convert our audience into Web3 mechanics and try to onboard a part of our user base into Web3 with simple onboarding. You know, we can create a wallet. Well, we can actually create a wallet in 2 clicks. After, then there's the way of securing the wallet, you know, for the users. But everything needs at the first experience of the user should be really seamless and not even see that there is like a Web3 in it. This is, on my opinion, this is the key. That's what we're trying to do here. So yeah.
Yeah.
And I think
Can I add to that?
This is the good moment for Jerome about that.
Please.
Yeah, okay. So I think we have to remember we have 40 million Web3 gamers versus 3.5 billion Web2 gamers, right? We don't want to lose this one and focus on Web3 gamers. And then the other thing is, let's be honest, majority of the 40 million Web3 gamers were attracted at the beginning with play to earn concept, which was totally unstable, as you mentioned, right? And I think it's much better if we talk about play and earn than play to earn. But and user acquisition for us, especially because we were a mobile gaming studio. Of course, now both of our Web3 games are on iOS and Android and web. We had to do that. We had no other choice. But still, I mean, user acquisition in Web3 gaming with the traditional, ads and things like it's not gonna work. Didn't work, doesn't work, and Web3 audience when you bring in Web3 audience to Web3 gaming, then they are expecting something different, right? So you are actually marketing yourself as a game that gives true ownership to the users. I always say we have 3 different layers of Web3ifying a game. We have asset layer, then the assets are on chain and true ownership. We have logic layer when game logics are on chain, what you are doing really well. And we have a governance layer when the gamers are included in the governance of the game and development. So if you want to make all of that possible, then user acquisition needs to be a much more education process. And I think what we're doing, for example, is a lot of cross-utility building to acquire users between our portfolio, right? We have games that perform much better. We have games that didn't do well in user acquisition. So we create a lot of cross-utility of in-game assets to onboard one game with good users, to onboard the users to the other game, right? We create a lot of utility for another game asset in the other games, right? So, and then we create a lot of interoperability, and that has been super helpful. That has saved us a lot of cost, and that has been really, really great for user acquisition. But also not only with our own portfolio, partnering up with other games. What I love about Web3 gaming is what we called competition in Web2, we call collaboration in Web3, right? We do a lot of collaboration with other Web3 games. We have a lot of partnerships with other games and with other IPs, in-game assets, and and I think that all of these both have made user acquisition much easier, but also have given us a lot of different revenue generation streamlines, monetization ways that really helps us grow. Yeah.
So I have a very opinionated opinion on that matter. Where to start? So
don't go against us, okay?
No, absolutely not. But you're completely right to bring back the ratio. Like how many Web3 users, how many real gamers among them. So you have to ask yourself a question, like do you want to tackle the Web3 niche? In which case that's great, like focus on the Web3 niche. Like go full speed on the Web3 niche. Don't even try to get them to install a wallet. Just let them connect a wallet. If they don't have a wallet, they're not going to be one of your clients because you're targeting the Web3 niche. The advantage of targeting the Web3 niche is when someone connects with its wallet, is connecting onto the game directly with his credit card and his bank account. So like you are someone that's playing your game with a large TVL, and that's great. Maybe you can make a business out of just focusing on the people that are playing Web3 stuff. Now, if you think about targeting something that's wider than the Web3 space, do not have 2 funnels. Do not say, oh, connect your wallet. You don't have a wallet, just create something there. Like, okay, that you're going to lose everyone doing so. And you are going to be sitting between 2 moving cars and not picking a battle. Like, do not do that. Like, you clearly pick your battle. Like, either focus full speed on Web3 or just focus full speed on Web2 stuff and simplify the onboarding to the max. Consider that the people that are going to come from the Web3 space to play your Web2-like game or the funnel being built for Web2 people, they're going to adapt because you are going to give them the same onboarding that every game is giving them, and you can tell them to connect the wallet later, and then you connect the wallet in the profile, to do something like this. Now, coming back to 2021 when we published our first on-chain game, we tried very hard. We received a large grant from Polygon to do acquisition. It's like, okay, you guys go do acquisition. Apparently, like there's a live game, let's try something. I think we spent 50K on TikTok ads, all sorts of different platform ads, and we got maybe 3 people that installed the wallet to play something. Because at this time we didn't have any proper onboarding tools. The first wave of onboarding tools that came was MPC Wallet as a Service. Who have heard about that? MPC Wallet as a Service? Sort of, yeah. So the principle is like, you connect a wallet. No, you don't have a wallet? Okay, just put your email. And then the person puts the email, they receive an email, there is a pop-up, there is something. This is completely degraded compared to the Web2 onboarding. So you lose a lot of people in the funnel. At the end of the day, the person has a wallet, and so what? They don't have any crypto to use their things or to buy something in your game. It's completely shitty, and you tell them to buy some crypto. And here is another pop-up with a KYC. Take a picture of yourself with your passport. Eventually, put your credit card. 100 euros become 70 euros because lots of fees, like crazy stuff, and you do nothing. And cherry on the cake, the wallet service system that you're using, they are onboarding your users on their platform and charging you for that. So here comes a couple of big behemoths of the Web3 space. They're like, hey, there's something cool to do with the wallet. Let's focus our platform on building a cool wallet. And then you have, let's say, the sequence thing, the immutable thing, like all of those distribution platforms that are hidden behind the wallet. And if this is the kind of battle that you want to wage, that's great. Like publish your game on one of those platforms, and you adopt the wallet of the platform, which is sometimes good, sometimes bad, sometimes good and bad. But you agree to just say like, yeah, let's give away my onboarding to the platform, send them to this user base, and they should become publishers, and they should jump into the publisher business. Now I also come with a great news for 2024. And a bad news for 2025, and a bad news also for 2025. But actually, the regulation was coming into force in 31st of December 2024. But anyway, so the good news is that we now have a certain level of maturity in our ecosystem to do account abstraction. So instead of having to generate a key, split it, and do something complicated to say, I'm not a custodian, if something happened, it's not my fault, and sending you as a service thing, we can actually prepare a smart contract that reflects the functioning of a wallet, and you can give those smart contracts to every one of your users. It's almost completely free, like the marginal cost is almost zero. So you now have a way to say, I onboard a user as a Web2 user, and I give them an address which I can interact with. Cherry on the cake, this time really cherry on the cake, you can sponsor all the transaction, you don't have to do anything. There's like 20 different vendors, we are one of them, and this is just working great. Like you can focus on that, and that's super great for onboarding your users. For giving your users a wallet. Of course, if they are Web2 users, in the profile they can say, hey, I already have a wallet, can I connect it? Yes, and this new wallet becomes the owner of the smart account. So you are killing two birds with one stone, and keeping the Web2 onboarding that everybody know and like, and nobody will have to learn something new. The bad news is that we also have a regulation to deal with, specifically in Europe, called MiCA, and this regulation is slowly getting into the Web3 gaming space, somewhat, somehow. Like if you expose Web3 stuff, you may be falling under the crypto-to-crypto part of it. If your provider or yourself are not really explaining how it's not custodial, because at the end of the day, MiCA say self-custodial. So you should be able to unplug the internet and still being able to sign. Good luck to do that with most of the wallet as a service. I want to know what Immutable is going to do with that, or what Sequence is going to do with that. It's going to be interesting once the regulators start to say like, well, what should we do? And in France, unfortunately, we now have Jaunum for a game with objects that you can monetize. The decree are about to be published. Yes. So regulation is coming at you. But good news, like the crypto community has been working their ass off, so we stay in the gray zone. So expect to have some shakeups regarding how your architecture is working. But acquisition is extremely tough. Don't do two funnels. Don't use wallet as a service. If you're using somebody else's wallets, accept that you are going to do acquisition with those somebody else's wallets and make them pay for it because you're giving them users. And otherwise, if you want to stay lean, go account abstraction. Full steam.
I think I know the answer, but that would be interesting to ask you, every one of you, the question. Are we going to end the conversation in 2025 saying that onboarding is the main challenge for user acquisition today? Do we still have onboarding issue in 2025 based on the tech?
No.
Well, I guess maybe at the end of the year we will say no. Today, on my opinion, well, depending on the solution that we use, there is still some friction. And the friction is not necessarily the onboarding about the creation of a wallet. It's the fact that we talk about crypto and the crypto has a bad reputation. I'm talking about Web2 here. So the main thing is this, the problem. But regarding the tech side, now we have onboarding that is really easy, and even a user don't know they created a wallet. They think they created a profile. But we don't talk about wallet, for example, in our onboarding. We talk about create your profile. And they have in their profile their avatar. They have a lot of things that they can do, and they have their wallets that is integrated in this. And it's also a way of how you present things to the user, because for example, on our side, we're rewarding users for engaging in the game. So when they will get reward in the different token of our partner, at a certain moment they will have those tokens, so they will want to know how to do this. And it's much easier for a user to understand how to do when they get money, because they can use it, than having to do it at the beginning, without having any incentive on that side. So that's one of the answers. And regarding your question regarding the acquisition, we make some tests on our site regarding UA acquisition on the game where we implemented this Web3 feature. And most of the creative that we had with crypto was less interesting, and we have less ROAS, so return on ads spent, less interesting than normal creative. So we're still going to try. We're still going to do some campaigns, alternative campaigns, to find. But for now, we still don't have the sweet spot regarding scaling by talking only about Web3 or talking about crypto. But at the contrary, the feature that we implemented, like an add-on in our game, so that's also the idea, is not saying that we are proposing rewards like a play to earn. So the guy, when you're going to download the game, he will play it and will have the idea of getting money. And this sense is a bit different. What we want to propose here is to say that the game that we're implementing those features are already profitable. They already have millions of downloads. One of the top game that we have the only 250 million downloads with Giant Rush, or the game has 100 million downloads. So those games are already stable, profitable. And by integrating on top of that a Web3 layer for the one that can be interesting, and it's also a layer about competitiveness, because people, by playing the game, competing with others, they can earn crypto. With this, we already see some really nice metrics. For example, we had some metric regarding D1 retention, which is important for us because we are on the casual space. So the first day it's important because it's when we'll get the most of the money here. For example, we made on the 4 games, we had a plus D1 retention that was multiplied by maybe between 1 and 2 on the 5 games that we had. The LTV of the users that were compared, if we compare the users that were engaged with the feature and users at the same time that was not engaged with the feature, we can see an increase between 4 to 6 times the LTV of the player. So yeah, we see some really nice improvement. We're still testing, still doing. We still have more data because we only have 2-month data right now, a little bit more than 2-month data on what we're doing right now. But yeah, I guess that we are on a good way to find nice use case that can be complementary to what we're doing in the normal gaming space, that let's say.
Well, I agree with most of the things that you guys said, most of it. No, I'm joking. But technically, I think, no, we don't have a problem at all. Account abstraction, we have had it for almost a year in all of our games. You don't even notice that you're playing a Web3 game if you play our games. But you can also connect your own wallet and take control of your own assets if you're Web3 native and savvy and all of that. Yeah, and so technically, definitely we don't have a problem. There's a lot of really good mature solutions today. That's if you look at onboarding technically only, right? But then there's other things in onboarding. It's business models and gameplays and all of that. We had a major problem in Web3 gaming that most of the games that started in 2021-ish were built. It was Crypto Bros that started it, not the gaming studios, right? And they failed. Yeah, no, I mean we started Mineralis at the time as well, right? So it was, and then eventually they learned that okay, no, that's not gonna work because crypto bros don't know how to build good games, and they prioritize crypto over games. And then we learned, okay, now we need to prioritize games over crypto, and build good games that are Web3 based. So then we started doing that. But now we are having another problem because now a lot of gaming studios who were really good at building games are stepping into Web3, but they also have the knowledge gap of not understanding Web3, right? Still looking at Web3 onboarding the way they were looking at Web2 gaming. And I think now that's the challenge that we will have, and I think that's what we need to work on moving forward. And the Web3 the gaming studios who actually have good understanding and knowledge of Web3, I think are going to definitely win in this coming year or two.
So apart from the onboarding and the technicalities, it's still going to be a pain to make someone purchase crypto in your game. That's probably for sure.
Especially with the iOS and Android, Apple rules, and
saying buy crypto and you send them to a non-ramping or to an exchange and so on, it's going to be painful. What may be improving will be buying stable coins, like putting $100 and getting $100 back, may be improving. Stripe is working on those kind of things, by the way, but you should not go in this direction. If you want to make them purchase gaming assets that are NFTs, you may be able to easily continue doing so. I don't think this is ever going to be a problem. Coming back to statistics and so on, when we distribute rewards, like we organize competition in our games, it's really pleasant to actually have crypto wallets for every users, because we can just distribute the crypto to all of those users, typically USDC or URC or whatever, and with like an abstraction you can make them move without having to pay the gas fees in the native token, so it's good for the users this way. And one interesting fact is 92% of the rewards that we distribute in the competition are reinvested in the game, so you get also a nice mechanics this way. But yeah, it's going to be more and more complex, I think, to navigate buying NFT for sure, making them buy crypto and complying with the distribution channel is going to be tough.
Yeah, love it. I totally agree. And you said it a little bit, but compliance might be a big obstacle in terms of onboarding based on what we ask for Jerome as an example. I saw so many silly things that they will. I hope they're not going to ask, because
I'm always thinking about how bad the banks were coming at us in the crypto bros, like saying, no, you should not do that, you're not allowed to do this, and like slowly they accept it. They put a lot of barriers to entry, saying like the only one that could be regulated is us because we have this, we have that, we're going to be the custodian and so on. I don't really see the gaming industry trying to stop a change, because saying like, no, we should stop the Web3 guys that are coming at us, we don't want crypto and so on. But what may come as a barrier will be eventually the lottery and gambling. It will be like, oh, damn, like maybe we should try to slow them down and make sure that they are not going to put crypto stuff into games, because that will come and eat the gambling lunch. But that may be the only problem. But so far so good. Jerome is bad, but okay, I think.
At least some visibility and clarity on that. Yeah, good. Okay, we passed the time, and we do have. I did have a few other things. I think it would be good to talk about KOLs, because KOLs in gaming is a thing. You have a lot of experience working for KOL, Web2 wise, if I may put it that way. But I think at some point it would be interesting to trigger a conversation about are we able to set up a user acquisition based on the KOLs we have in Web3, or should we rely on KOLs in Web3 too? I think it's another discussion we may have. But
do we have any KOLs in the room?
I'm not sure. Yeah, we do? Okay. But I think it's going to be an interesting conversation to have with you because I know that on our side a lot of members are asking for it for bad or good reasons, but they're really chasing them as well. But thanks for your time, and I also understand that we need to network with everyone. So I really try to be mindful with the time, and thank you very much for the 3 speakers we have. So thank you, guys.
Thank you. Thank you.